Oh, good morning. Good morning, chat. How are we doing today? Oh man. Today, I feel like today's just gonna be kind of a kind of a chill day. Uh I'll tell you what, man. My bike acquiring my motorcycle has been one of the best experiences and choices I could have ever made in my life, hands down. And today, we're going to go over in more eloquent words than I could put it why I think everyone who was able bodied to do so should invest at least a couple hours a week into the motorcycle life. This is just my opinion. Obviously, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not recommending anything to anyone. However, here at the tavern, we are very prone to discussion, and sometimes I get caught up, I admit, in my gaming and much less in the discussion of things. And today, we're discussing motorcycles and riding and why that kind of stuff is good for the heart. So we're gonna watch a couple videos. Bear with me. Um, I'll do my best to not interrupt as much as possible, but there's just so much to talk about and discuss when it comes to the topic of writing. So let's get into it.
Have you ever seen a motorcycle parked outside a psychiatrist's clinic? I'm pretty sure the answer you'll have is no. Because riding a motorcycle takes away all the tensions and stress. Like you have rebooted your system. Riding a motorcycle brings a sense of calm and ease to our mind and body, which could be achieved otherwise only through meditation perhaps. Also, many riders refer to their bikes as therapists, as motorcycles make us feel energized and refreshed after each ride. It is a therapy, a way of life that helps bind love for a couple riding together. It lets us have our own space while getting time to forget everything that has been bothering us. Anything that gets your blood racing is probably worth doing. For many bikers, riding a motorcycle is not just a hobby or need, it's passion.
Okay. I know. We're already starting off strong. There is absolutely nothing short of becoming a father. I think holding my daughter was one of the most purest moments that I've had as a man in my entire life. Pure. And by pure, I mean being at complete and utter peace, being present, being in awe, and just being, just being. Holding my daughter for the first time ever is among those moments. However, another one of those moments was when I got on my bike for the first time. Uh, you'll often in the bike community hear people refer to riding as wind therapy, and that couldn't be further from the truth. It is unequivocal that there is an amount of therapy and a state of peacefulness that you get from being on the back of a bike. A lot of people will tell you it's dangerous, and sure it is. We can get into that later, but there's a transcendence in your mindset, in your state of being while you're on two wheels that you will never get in my opinion, on four wheels. It's just not going to happen.
All they want in life is to travel to every corner of the world on their motorcycle. There is a deep fire within us for riding, which will make us achieve impossible miles, paths, and terrains. Bikers will not mind devoting a good amount of time and income for their motorcycles. In the hierarchy of needs, for us it's motorcycling that stays on the top.
Okay, I know. You are going to invest a lot of money into your bike. Even if it's brand new, fresh off the gate, fresh out of the shop, 2025 Road Glide CVO, all the bells and whistles. The first thing you're doing is buying a seat in most situations. I got lucky in that my particular motorcycle, my Harley Davidson Ultra Electroglide, my Ultra is stock for whatever reason. I couldn't tell you why. The seat on it is just a love sofa. It's a couch on wheels. But in most situations, you're going to be replacing a seat almost immediately, whether it's Mustang, whether it's what the hell's the other one? Not Clockworks. That's the windshield. It'll come to me later when it's irrelevant. But one of the first things you'll do is replace your seat. Period of the story. And especially if you plan on doing any amount of traveling with it or using it as a daily driver just to get to and from work. You know, you live within 30 minutes of your job and, you know, you're taking it back and forth because it's easier on gas. Your ass is on that thing on a pretty consistent basis. So you're replacing the seat almost immediately. Chances are, depending on your bike, you'll also replace the bars. The bars on my Ultra sit real low. Okay, I've had to purchase 14-inch ape hangers. They're called mini apes. Okay, that'll raise my arms up so I'm at a comfortable riding position instead of being all the way down here. Depending on how new or old your bike is, you're going to be buying speakers, a stereo. If you plan on doing any amount of traveling, like touring, you're going to spend a couple grand on replacing the suspension almost immediately. So make no mistake, you know, you're going to be spending money. And while I would argue this is certainly a lifestyle, it's also a hobby in that, well, okay, there are some niche people who literally only drive come rain or shine, snow or sleet. And there are some people out there who live the lifestyle that is motorcycle 24/7. However, most people have a backup vehicle for the wintertime. But there are plenty who don't. And to touch on the first part of this too, you will definitely spend a lot of time on your bike. I would argue in most cases, people who get into motorcycling, whether it's a Harley, whether it's a Goldwing, whether it's a Indian, you know, whatever it is that you ride, you'll notice people don't call it driving. You're not driving a motorcycle, you're riding a motorcycle. Well, what else do you ride? Chat, what else do you ride? Horses. You have ridden a horse before? Some of you might not have, but I have. And one of the first things that I was told by one of the graybeards in my biking community was that one thing that you can do to connect yourself to your bike is not only, well, of course, name it, but also, I don't want to say pretend, but pretend it's a horse. Pretend this is a living, breathing steed underneath you. And you know, without sounding cliche or poetic, it is our steed at the end of the day. It is our horse. I mean, 500, 600,000 horses under the hood, right? I mean, you will be on that thing a lot. Naming it will make you incredibly comfortable. Replace the seat will make it incredibly comfortable. Building almost a relationship with it will make it incredibly comfortable. And you will find yourself very quickly, mind you, not wanting to go back to a car, not wanting to go back to your truck, not wanting to go back to your Suburban. You will be on that bike just to go for a ride, just to go around town, just to go visit your dad, just to go visit your mom, just to go visit a friend. You'll go for a drive just because you can. There is just something about being, and I speak as a Harley owner, on the back of my Harley. There's something that speaks to me in hearing the exhaust, the in feeling the shaking underneath me, the timidness of my horse, if you want to be poetic, yeah. There is just something poetic about it, but yeah. Oh.
Riding a motorcycle gives us a sense of freedom. We are in total control of the moment. We are not just riding, we are flying. There are no set limits to stop us. We can travel to any place with complete freedom. It lets us be us without anyone's permission. Just like a kid who is always restricted to his space, but as soon as he gets on his bicycle, it's the moment of freedom. He now breaks those chains and flies through the street on his bicycle with the wildest smile on his face. It might sound like a cliche, but it's true. When you're on your bike, you experience the open air, the wind brushing through your face. All the colors around is so vivid and vibrant. The sound of the motor and the vibration which you feel. The obscured view going on around you. It's an embracement of senses and acts as oxygen to your soul. We just love it. The sheer enjoyment of being on a motorcycle. For some of us, it's speed and thrill that keeps us on our motorcycles. Motorcycles are legal drugs that make you high and take you into a transcendent state of nirvana. The high of power and acceleration we get at the flick of our wrist is something that we look for and can't keep ourselves away from.
I know. That state of nirvana that he's talking about, it's actually really wild when you think about it, because I've yet to be able to pinpoint exactly how to describe an equal state of being hyper aware while simultaneously being hyper carefree. I recommend to anybody and everybody to go take an MSF course or a STAR course or whatever it's called in your state, but to go take your 1 to 2 entry level classes that your area offers. It will get you comfortable on your bike. It will get you comfortable maneuvering, especially for those of you who have never gotten on 2 wheels before. I know me, I didn't grow up in a family of people who did dirt biking and motor boating and quads and stuff like that. I didn't grow up in that type of family. So for me, at 35 years old, this is the first time I got on 2 wheels. Well, short of a couple other minor occasions, but I digress. One of the things that they teach you in those MSF courses is to always watch out for the front tires of a vehicle. Vehicles do this thing called posturing, and for those of you who are nerds among us, you understand in the sword community what posturing is. But the vehicles will posture in what direction they're going to go just based off of the front tires. And I can positively tell you, I have never noticed someone's front tires in my cage. Ever. until I got on my bike. Now those front tires are one of the first things I look at actively. Being on a bike puts you in a state of hyper awareness in that you're looking at those front tires, you're looking around you. Uh, of course, whether you wear a helmet or not, the smells hit you different. I can tell you just here in town, going up and down 2400 out here, there are pockets of air that you'll hit that are a noticeable 4 to 6 degree difference, cool or hot. You'll hit these air pockets. You'll be hotter. You'll be hot as fuck for a mile or two, and you'll hit an air pocket or something, and it drops down 5 degrees like that for a quarter mile, half mile, and it goes back up, or vice versa, right? Uh, there is something to be said about being in a state of hyper awareness that, well, thank you. Welcome to the tavern, my friend. There is something to be said for that state of hyper awareness while also being carefree. And maybe it's just in my head, but I feel like when I'm in my cage, when I feel like I'm in my four-wheeled hunk of shit, I feel like I'm actively looking for people who are gonna turn out in front of me. Um, who are gonna just pull out. I feel like I'm trying a lot harder to drive in my car, in my SUV, in my truck. I feel like I'm looking for something, whereas on my bike, I mean, of course I am, and you should be that much more because you don't have that steel cage wrapped around you to protect you. But also, you, as I said, you maintain that level of. It's a subconscious thing. It's just you and the road in the forefront of your mind. You're not worried about this person pulling out in front of me. You're. It's already back there in the filing cabinet. The camera's rolling, and there is something to be said for that state of being where you're both hyper aware and attuned, and then also not even needing to think about it. It's wild, and you only get that, in my opinion, on a bike. And I've been on a lot of things. I've been water skiing. I've been in a boat. I've been in a plane. Obviously, I've never driven a plane, but having driven a jet ski and a boat and a motorcycle and many other things now. While I've never went on a glider before or any kind of skydiving, I can positively tell you from my experience on the ground, this is only something you're going to get from a bike.
The thrill of clocking high speeds on their Odo after hitting the rev limiter beyond its limit on each shift is something that they're addicted to, which gives the best adrenaline rush a motorcyclist can ever ask for. Motorcycling is one thing that keeps friends together, and it will till the end of times. Everybody taking out time from their schedule and then going out for a ride is something that you will only see in the motorcycling community. The bond of friendship grows deeper when it's associated to a motorcycle. Be it a breakfast ride, a night ride, or a long road trip, they're always up for it. You will.
The community. Chat, the community. Shortly after I passed my MSF course, I quickly joined the Twin Falls County Writers Group on Facebook. And obviously, I'm sure there's groups around you where you're at, Alabama writers, Texas writers, New York writers, Washington writers, Spokane writers, Boise writers, Sacramento writers. There's going to be groups on Facebook of people that go on these little drives in your area. And I joined a couple of those groups after I did my MSF course. And I can't say that I've made a crap ton of new friends. However, I have met 3 dudes so far who are quickly becoming quite close to me just in the sense of brotherhood, in the sense of loyalty. While we're not in a club or MC together at the moment, one guy I met, his name's Charles. We had set up a ride a couple weeks ago now to leave on a Saturday morning and go for a drive up to around the Nampa area and come back. And the morning that we were supposed to leave, my bike ended up having a gas leak. I had to replace a gasket in the gas line because the gasket had just rotted away. And 15 minutes before we were supposed to go on this ride, this man comes over, gets on his back in my driveway, and because I'm not mechanically inclined whatsoever, and he begins to address the problem. We're trying to figure out why it's not starting. And needless to say, it ended up taking me a day and a half to get the issue fixed and figure out what it was, but I digress. The community of people that is in the biker world is, I'm not going to say unlike any other. I've never been in the military. I'm sure, certain military branches have a thick as thieves code when it comes to their level of bonding. But I would imagine, having not been in the military, an equal equation to that would be that of your motorcycle community. Obviously, we're not sharing blood or protecting each other's lives. However, in the bike community, you're going to find a lot of dudes who are more than happy to loan you their bike, should you need it. You're going to find a lot of people who are willing to quite literally give you the vest, jacket, shirt off their back. Maybe not their cut, obviously, if it's a club-oriented thing, but you're not going to find a group of people who are willing to give you the shirt off their back in your day-to-day life like you will in the motorcycle community. You're not going to find a group of people who, again, short of the military, who look out for each other in their group rides, in a group setting, quite like you will in the motorcycle community. There is just something to be said for that band of brotherhood that exists when you're in a group ride. And that isn't something that you can replicate anywhere else. And it's not something that you can mimic. It just exists in a group of people who, I don't want to say forced, but are forced to look out for one another, like in these group rides. I mean, hell, just 2 or 3 of you going down to your local In-N-Out Burger for a night ride. I mean, whether you're staggered, whether you're 2x2, whatever, however it is that you ride in a group, you're looking out for one another, and you're just not going to get that passively and instinctually quite like you will in this kind of community. And it's so worth it. It's so worth it. If you feel like you need more people to talk to bond with, to associate with, man, there's just no thicker community. I know I've got a friend, his name is Ed, and he lives out in Jerome. He's a veteran, and he, what the hell is the name of the motorcycle club he rides with? Ace Veterans, I think it's called out here. Ace Veterans. I'd have to go look at his Facebook. But there are plenty of, veteran MC clubs. There are plenty of, we'll call it illegal activity clubs, if that is your particular interest. Whatever your niche is, short of nerd stuff, I am working on creating an MC myself for this local area, for those who are not only enjoy riding, but also fall into the nerd category. I've yet to encounter very many nerds in the old head community of bikers, but you're going to find your niche of people and humor and lack thereof anywhere and everywhere in the biking community, and it's so worth it.
Meet some of the nicest people on your rides. When you ride a motorcycle, You always wave to each other, even when you don't know each other, which is not something car drivers do. So no matter which motorcycle you're riding, nor does it matter from which part of the country you belong, there's always the bond of brotherhood that gets motorcyclists together. They're always there to help each other at any point in time. It makes you less introvert, as it's the best way to socialize and meet new people. Have you ever noticed that motorcyclists will always have a gender to their bike? Guys will refer to their bikes as she, and lady riders refer to their bike as he. It's because the relationship between a bike and its owner is not about ownership, but about love. Motorcyclists get committed into a serious relationship with their motorcycle, and it so happens that the motorcyclist would choose a motorcycle over anything else in this world. There is a romance between us, with all the selfies that we take with the bike and update statuses on social media every now and then. Open your map, choose a destination, pack your bags, and go. No matter what destination you choose, motorcycles are ready to take you there. Into the jungle, over the mountains, into the woods, across the river, or beneath the caves. We love the solitude and freshness these places give to us. Motorcyclists will research intensively on such places and head towards the destination no matter how tough the road is. Traveling to known places do not interest us. We would prefer overlanding where the goal of the ride is the journey itself. This is why we ride. If you liked the video, then hit that like button. And if you would like to catch more motorcycle related content like this, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.
That, yeah, there. I know I talk a lot, but man.
Because freedom. That's the raison d'etre a rider will give you before cruising down a public road to a public place where anyone is free to go. Freedom is motorcycling. So say dealerships when they want you to buy something.
But it's shit, isn't it? Freedom is no tangible thing that you can find between two wheels or at the end of a rainbow. It's epistemic. A Han Dynasty peasant named Goo won't feel freedom like a Hell's Angel named Gus. Our definition must be relative.
At this, you'd expect our motorcyclists to show a finger, probably their longest one.
But what if they wrote a book instead? The best-selling philosophy book of all time. That might help us understand freedom. Take this obese dirt bike with a motor from 2006. It is not made for speed.
But she still goes 0 to 60 in 3.9, which is as fast as that year's Lamborghini Gallardo.
It is a truth universally acknowledged that a man in want of a super-fast car will be 70 by the time he has the fortune to buy one, at which point acceleration only draws blood away from his rapidly wilting penis. However, any 18-year-old can Snapchat their dealer, take delivery of a 15-year-old Gixxer, and blast Ferraris all day long. That should not be possible.
Free your mind.
Today, mankind is more crippled by mental health than any other disability. This is our apocalypse now. We empty our lives into little rectangles. We connect with the world through glass. But Plato never intended people to live in his cave. It's making us sick. I can point to neuroscience studies on how riding frees us to focus on one real thing, rather than being anxious about all the virtual shadows. But if we're going to wax philosophical, I'd rather point to that book.
Piercig saw how on a cycle the frame is gone. You're in the scene, not just watching it anymore, and the sense of presence is overwhelming.
See, that frame, that boundary of normal existence, is what freedom is relative to. Each person will find its definition under the barriers of their own life. Stuck in a car? Get out on a bike and feel free. Unaffordable Lambo? Buy a bike, free yourself to the same speed. Inescapable virtual landscape? Screw it. I'll take my chances in the real one.
You won't fit that definition on a dealership billboard, but that's why it's true. No frame.
If you've never been on a bike, do yourself a favor. Go rent one. Find a friend who's got one. There is nothing more therapeutic for me, myself, and I. I smoke a lot of bud. There is nothing more therapeutic than the calm and the, again, at risk of sounding poetic and corny, there's nothing more serene than being on the back of your bike, picking somewhere to go, and just going there for the day, for a couple hours, for 1 hour. Hell, a 20-minute drive. That's a couple weeks ago. I posted on my Instagram. I went out for a ride. I was just gone for 30 minutes. Just decided to get to the house. Shit was getting kind of stressful, and I just feel like I needed to get out and clear my head for a minute. The tranquility that came from 30 minutes of just going out in the country, making a big loop and coming back into town, just that short 30-minute drive, chat, put me in such a better mood. And obviously, results may vary from person to person, but I would argue if you feel like you have some kind of PTSD, if you feel like you have some kind of homework that needs to be done on your state of mind, if you feel like maybe there are instances where you're angrier all the time than you'd like to be, if you have more bouts of loneliness and anxiety, let's call it depression perhaps, then you're going to find out very, very quickly just how transcending and surreal a short motorcycle drive is for your mental health. I argue camping is a huge unplug for a lot of folks. I think going for a camping trip at least 3 times a year is going to be a huge help to a lot of people who feel caged in their life. Doing that on a motorcycle, though, now we're talking.
During my short time at university, motorbikes for me mark the end of a childhood dream and the beginning of an adulthood one. As a child, perhaps it was the image of one, of being a motorbiker. The speed, the sound, the open road, how the helmet makes the biker anonymous, like a real-life Power Ranger or Iron Man. Now that I have my license, and I'm lucky enough to have a bike of my dreams, those childhood inspirations continue to spark joy for my riding. But what's important now is the freedom it has granted me. It's where it can take me and how it takes me there, through back roads, wet and dry, bending or straight, with power and with style. My motorbike, for me, is a symbol of adventure. One night in 2008, when I was little, my dad came home late from work with blood all over his clothes.
I just turned into the road, and it was a bit odd because there was a tractor and a car blocking the road. In the road was a motorcycle scooter type with someone in obvious distress and pain lying in the middle of the road. So I thought, I'll get out of the car, recognised the tractor driver who was out of his cab and said, "Have you rung for an ambulance?" And he said yes, and as I walked towards to see if I could help, I noticed there was another figure in motorcycle helmet just to the side of the road, motionless, lying on his back, and realised he wasn't breathing. So I then immediately started taking his helmet off, and remember the guy looking down said, "You shouldn't take his helmet off, he might have a neck injury." I said, "Well, at the moment he's not breathing, so he'll just die." I then did mouth to mouth and CPR, and so I had to keep going with my CPR because no one else was helping. Eventually an ambulance arrived, but at that time I'd said it was no good, this chap is dead. And we discussed what could have happened with the police, and they thought something had hit them, but we couldn't see anything. It turned out to be a deer that had got injured and then died in the gorse, but it's very sad.
Yeah. Now, we don't know the family. I've never spoken to the family. So for privacy reasons, I'm not going to show the memorial that they have, but 16 years on, they still have a memorial, a cross with the names of the couple on it, a place for flowers. And I ride past it almost every day. I try to remember to nod as well, because it reminds me of the dangers that I expose myself to by riding a motorbike. And these dangers are real. But should they stop us from riding? More on that later. So how did I get into riding? My dad. When he was a young adult, he couldn't pass his driving test, so got a bike instead.
No one I knew rode motorbikes, they all had cars, so I was sort of encouraged at 17 to try to get a bike licence, but I couldn't afford the lessons very often. We didn't have a car, so I failed my test. And then I met a chap who's a good friend of mine who'd always loved motorcycles and fiddled about them. He had a very old two-stroke Panther, so I thought, oh, well, I could get a two-stroke Suzuki, which is what I did, two-stroke 250. I got work in the summer and used up all my savings and got a little loan from the bank manager who was friendly. Took it back to London and scared the pants off me there, and then progressed through to a Suzuki 550, which I loved.
How long did you ride that?
About a year, but it blew up.
Oh.
And I couldn't afford to do anything about it, so I'm afraid life took over by then.
And when did you, and why did you start riding again a lot later in your life?
You know, it's a mystery to me why I did. I don't think I'd ever forgotten about motorbikes, that was the thing.
During my short time at university, I'd stay connected by sending Dad pictures of motorbikes I would see on the streets. When I came home after dropping out, I decided I finally wanted to learn the skill, which leads me to my first bike, Spider. Alright, sorry for the wind noise, but this is my setup. This is my bike. It's on the CBF 125. I'm still a learner, so we have the learner plates on. Reliable, easy to ride, economical. I bought Spider for £1,900. I didn't have a loud exhaust. I didn't throw loads of money at it. I knew it was my stepping stone to either getting a car or a bigger bike. Okay, first things first. Gonna try and do a U-turn because I tried doing it the other day when I was riding and I was pretty crap. Check the mirror, lifesaver. Ah, that was easy. Nice. There's the murmuration. See the birds? See, on a car, you see this stuff, but you don't have the wind in your face, and you don't... It's not the same. It's not the same. As a young person, riding a motorbike can be quite a smart choice financially. It can save you a lot of time and money spent on public transport, especially if you live in the countryside like I do, where buses and trains are either infrequent, expensive, or both. I wanted to get my license and certify the skill though. And once I passed my test, I bought my dream bike, the Yamaha XSR 700.
Beautiful to make this life a wonderful adventure. Let us use this power. Let us all unite. I'm all right.
A 125cc can be enough. There's this YouTuber whose videos I love to watch, Bertram Janssen, that rides only a 125cc motorbike and takes these really epic long road trips around Europe. He shows how you don't need a powerful bike and loads of money to enjoy motorbiking. Alas, recently I've started my own adventure and moved to one of the worst cities for motorcycle theft in the UK, Bristol. Which is why I've switched to this, a 2005 Suzuki GS500F. £1,095, it was cheaper than Spider. And it's taught me a whole new world of motorcycling. This motorbike, to me, is what a film camera is for photographers. Tactile, mechanical, and falling apart. Still, there's something so special when using it. Even if some days I'd rather have a digital camera in my hands. But at least I'm no target for the motorbike thieves. Well, at least that's what I thought. Unfortunately, about 2 weeks ago, some thieves tried to steal my motorbike. They cut all the locks off. Granted, they were really rudimentary locks, they were just sort of bicycle locks that I had lying around. And they tried to break the steering lock. But luckily, through the amazing engineering of a 20-year-old bike, they were unable to break that lock. They did instead just bend my handlebars completely, like twisted them. Now I've bought better, proper motorcycle locks. I think I was just hoping that a 20-year-old bike, they wouldn't really want to take it. But no, if you live in a city in the UK, unfortunately, you need some proper bike locks. And, you know, if you can have it in a garage or something like this, I just park it out on the road. It's pretty quiet behind our flat, but if you live in a city, for sure, you need to lock it up. So in my case, my motorbike is the only form of transport I have, and that's fine for me because I'm a student and I don't have anyone dependent on me. But for a lot of people, a bike might actually be a luxury, where a car becomes a necessity. And I think in the biking community, perhaps that's the largest demographic. You have the people that really just do it as a hobby. It becomes something you put your spare time and your spare money into, and you can keep your bike in a garage or invest some money into it to protect it, or have a nicer bike as well. If that is the case for you or for anyone interested in biking, then it really just becomes a fun hobby, a new skill you can learn. But I think one of the biggest benefits of actually becoming a biker or joining the bike community is exactly that. It's the community. You have people from all demographics and all age ranges riding motorbikes. You have people like me who kind of rely on it, but you have people who do it for fun, who maybe only ride on a racetrack, or they have an adventure bike that they take around touring the country. I know that when I go out for a ride, if I were to go out right now, if I see another biker, we're going to nod at each other, we're going to wave, say hello. And if I were in any trouble at any time, someone would most likely come and pull up. I know I would if I saw another biker who needed help. So whether you ride as a hobby or you ride because you need to, the biking community is always there for you,
Yep.
and hopefully you can make many friends through that. So a new skill, cheap transport, and adventure. But what about the dangers? So it's definitely more dangerous, but really it's the same risk factors as driving a car. For a motorbiker, we must be sensible about speed, wear it with the correct gear, think about your visibility, and educate ourselves. In the UK, the most common factor allocated to a fatal motorbike crash was the driver or rider failed to look properly. Motorcycles are definitely harder to spot, but can we also be more aware as road users? Becoming a biker makes you so much more aware as a driver of potential motorbikes. And I think my time riding a motorbike will forever improve the safety of my time on the road in any vehicle I command. I also started regularly giving blood a few years ago. It's a dream of mine to become a blood biker, which is a rapid response emergency service that transports blood and crucial medical items across the country. This is something I'm working towards and would like to get my advanced rider qualification.
Oh, interesting. Blood riders, huh?
There's definitely a feeling that you chase. Much like the surfers I see as I ride by, I watch them and know that we're chasing the same feeling, or a very similar one. You see, I tried surfing, but I find that ocean very humbling. And much like the surfer riding the wave, being on the motorbike is an adventure with something greater than yourself. There's higher consequences, it's dangerous, and you can't control other drivers around you. You always have to be aware of that. But for me, the beauty of riding is worth the risk. So now, just for 30 seconds, join me as I ride through the forest back at home in Cornwall.
So let's do a cool 30-second ride.
And you probably have no idea. Hey gang, let's talk about how riding a motorcycle
I love
isn't
it. I love it.
just fun. It secretly transforms your mind, body, and even your social life. And you probably have no idea how, but I'm going to tell you. All right, picture this. You're cruising down an open road, wind in your face, the sound of the engine humming beneath you, and for a moment, nothing else matters. No emails, no stress, no to-do list, just you, the bike, and the ride. Now, most people look at motorcycles and think, hey, cool machine, fun ride. But here's what they don't realize. Riding a motorcycle isn't just fun. It's actually good for you. And I'm not just talking about the obvious stuff like fresh air and an escape from traffic jams. Nope, I'm talking about some seriously surprising benefits that might just blow your mind. Like, did you know that riding a motorcycle can literally make you smarter? Yeah, we're talking improved cognitive function, faster reaction times, the kind of mental sharpness you'd expect from a chess grandmaster. But instead of a board and pieces, you've got two wheels and an open road. Or what about this? Motorcycling is actually a workout. Seriously, your core, your legs, your arms, they're all working to keep you balanced and in control, which means every ride is like leg day at the gym, except way more fun and without that guy grunting too loudly on the bench press next to you. And here's my personal favorite. Riding is one of the best stress relievers out there. There's a reason they call it wind therapy. Studies
How to
have
get chicken nuggets,
actually
Jack.
proven that just 20 minutes on a bike can lower your stress hormones. So basically, motorcycles aren't just machines, they're mobile therapists, and they don't charge you by the hour. This is a very windy road.
You're not going to beat
See what I mean?
You're not gonna beat
Motorcycles aren't just about going from point A to point B. They change the way you think. They change the way you feel and even the way you experience the world. And today, we're going to dive into all of that. Every surprising, mind-blowing, totally unexpected benefit of riding that nobody talks about. So if you've ever needed an excuse to go ride more or finally get that bike you've been dreaming about, congratulations. You're about to get plenty. So let's get into it. All right, let's talk brain power. Most people assume riding a motorcycle is just about twisting the throttle and holding on, right? But here's what they don't realize. Every time you ride, your brain is getting one hell of a workout. See, when you're on a bike, you're not just sitting there. You're constantly processing information. You're calculating speed, you're scanning for hazards, you're adjusting your balance, you're predicting what that car ahead of you might do next, all at the same time. And guess what? Science actually backs this up. A study out of Japan found that regular motorcycle riders showed higher levels of cognitive function than non-riders. Basically, riding keeps your brain sharper, like Sudoku, but way cooler and with way more adrenaline. And it makes sense, right? Cooler. Unlike driving a car where you kind of go into autopilot mode, and let's be honest, we've all zoned out in traffic before, riding a motorcycle demands your full attention. Your brain has to stay active, engaged, and constantly adapting to whatever the road throws at you. It's like playing a real-life video game where your mind and body have to work together in perfect sync. You're processing inputs, reacting in milliseconds, and fine-tuning every movement, all without even realizing it. So yeah, riding isn't just good for the soul, it's good for the brain. It sharpens your reflexes, boosts your mental awareness, and keeps you engaged in a way that no other mode of transport does. Who needs brain training apps when you've got two wheels in an open road? So the next time somebody tries to tell you riding is just for fun, hit them with this fact. Motorcycles aren't just badass, they're brain boosters too. And that's only one of the unexpected perks of riding. You ever have one of those days where everything just feels too much? The emails won't stop, traffic's a nightmare, and even the smallest things get under your skin. Yeah, we've all been there. Now let me show you the cure. But here's the thing, riding a motorcycle is like hitting the reset button for your brain. The moment you swing a leg over and roll that throttle, everything else just disappears. It's called wind therapy. And no, that's not just some poetic biker term. It's for real. Studies have actually proven that just 20 minutes of riding can reduce cortisol, the hormone responsible for stress and belly fat. The same stress hormone that turns normal people into grumpy, coffee-dependent goblins. It's like meditation, but instead of sitting in silence trying to focus on your breathing, you're slicing through the wind, feeling completely free. So next time life gets overwhelming, forget screaming into a pillow or stress eating a whole pizza. Just get on the bike. Trust me, it works. Why does it work? Simple. Riding forces you to be present. You're not doom scrolling. You're not replaying awkward conversations from 5 years ago. You're in the moment, fully engaged. Your brain loves that shit. And let's be real, when you're on a bike, there's no room for stress. You're too focused on the ride. Your mind isn't thinking about deadlines, bills, or what Karen from accounting said about your lunch choice. It's just you, the road, and the rhythm of the ride. You ever notice how people will spend hundreds of dollars on meditation retreats just to learn how to be present? Meanwhile, bikers get that for free, plus a much cooler outfit.
We talked about that earlier, about that presence, about being here and not here. I'm telling you, it's a real thing.
Let's talk about the grin factor. The second you twist that throttle, your brain releases dopamine, the same feel-good chemical you get from chocolate or winning the lottery. Except instead of cavities or tax problems, you get just pure, unfiltered happiness. So yeah, motorcycles aren't just transportation. They're therapy on two wheels.
Yep.
And the best part, no appointment necessary. All right, so riding clears your mind. But did you know it can also make you stronger? Yep, your bike is basically a mobile gym. Let's talk about it. Ever skip the gym and feel a little guilty? Yeah, me neither. I mean, you can't skip the gym if you never go, right? But seriously, what if I told you that every time you ride, you're actually getting a solid workout without even realizing it? Here's the deal. Motorcycling is way more physically demanding than people think. It's not just sitting there twisting the throttle. Your legs are working to keep the bike stable, your arms are constantly adjusting for control, and your core, yeah, that's engaged the entire time, especially when you're leaning into turns. And if you ride a heavier bike, congrats, you've basically been strength training. You ever had to muscle your bike into a tight parking spot? That's the equivalent of a solid deadlift. Try doing that 5 times in a row and tell me it's not a workout. Even at high speeds, your body is constantly making micro adjustments. Those small shifts in weight, those counter steering moves, those keep your muscles engaged.
You ever want some strength training? Try backing up a 900-pound Harley Davidson in gravel or sand.
Dark
Yeah,
side
give it
of
a
the
try.
Force is calling you.
The entire ride. And the longer you ride, the more endurance you build. It's like a full body.
Hold on, chat. I apologize. We're back.
Resistance workout, but instead of lifting dumbbells, you're carving through corners. And here's a fun fact. A study found that just 20 minutes of riding can burn as many calories as a brisk walk. But let's be honest here, riding is way cooler than power walking the mall. So next time somebody asks if you've been working out, say, yeah.
Or both. Yeah, you get on the bike, go for a little drive, and then go to the mall, and then do some walking around, right? I mean, you can get a double workout in a day.
Every time I ride. They don't need to know it's the most fun workout ever. Now that we've talked about how riding can make you stronger, let's talk about something even better. How riding can make you part of an instant community.
Ooh.
All right, let's talk about something that no one expects when they start riding. The instant social upgrade. I'm talking about the moment you throw a Lego or a bike, you're magically part of an underground society. No sign-ups, no initiation rituals, no exclusive membership fees. You're just in. It's like having VIP access to a club that actually matters. And you'll see it every time you pass another biker on the road. That little wave, the 2-finger salute. It's a universal biker language that basically says, hey, you and me, we get it. We're the Rollins. And that's the thing. Riding a motorcycle is the fastest way to make friends without saying a word. You ever pull into a parking lot full of bikes? Boom. You're in a conversation before you even take your helmet off. It's the only scenario where complete strangers will walk up to you like, hey man, what year is that? What mod you got on that? What's the range you get on that thing?
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Meanwhile, car guys are out here arguing in forums about their favorite brand like it's a political debate. And let's talk about group rides. In any other situation, following a bunch of people in traffic sounds like the worst thing ever. But on bikes, different story. Rolling deep with a pack of riders is an experience like no other. You feel like a squad of medieval cavalry, but instead of horses, you've got horsepower. And instead of swords, well, we've got leather jackets, so the vibe is still there. And here's the best part. Bikers look out for each other. It's an unspoken rule. You see another rider broken down on the side of the road, you stop. Doesn't matter if you know them or not. In the car world, if somebody's got their hood up, people just drive by and are like, sucks for them.
Hold on, chat. All right, I'm back, chat. Sorry about that. Whew. We had to take a short intermission, but I digress. Where were we?
But in the biker world, you pull over, you help, or at the very least, you make sure they've got what they need.
Yep.
And let's not forget biker events. You ever been to a bike rally? It's like Thanksgiving, but instead of awkward family conversations, it's just miles of motorcycles, live music, and some of the best road stories you'll ever hear. Oh, and scantily clad bartenders.
Oh, man, I was hoping to have made it to Sturgis this year, chat. I didn't because I thought, for some reason, I was thinking Sturgis was later in September, and it's not. It's in August, so I missed it this year. However, next year, we will be putting money aside because me and a good friend of mine from Texas, he and I will be meeting up somewhere in the middle, and our plan is to hit Sturgis next year and drive out there. He's in Texas, I'm in Idaho, so it'll be a couple days drive to get there, but assuming all goes well, we'll be out there for, I don't know, a week or so. Pack up a couple tents and just head out. But yeah, those motorcycle rallies are just, mwah, magnifique. And the bartenders are pretty cute.
Lots and lots of scantily clad bartenders. And speaking of stories, bikers love to tell them. I mean, every biker has that one story that starts with, so there I was, minding my own business when suddenly, and by the end of it, you're either laughing hysterically or wondering how the hell they're still alive. And don't even get me started on road trips. Have you ever tried to plan a trip with non-bikers? You suggest a 300-mile drive and suddenly they're talking about back pain and gas money. But with bikers, if you say, hey, let's ride across 3 states for absolutely no reason, the response you'll usually get is, what time are we leaving?
Yep.
Riding isn't just about the machine. It's about the people, the instant nod of respect, the road trip buddies. It's about rolling into a town you've never been to, parking your bike, and feeling right at home just because there's other riders there. It doesn't matter if you ride a sport bike.
And it's only because you're on a fucking motorcycle, chat. You won't get this in a car or a truck. I don't know why it's a phenomenon. I don't know why it exists, but it does. That's how it goes.
A cruiser, an ADV, or some Frankenstein garage build that shouldn't even be street legal.
Lord.
If you're on 2 wheels, you're part of the family. No applications, no dress codes, no secret handshakes. Just the open road,
Well, okay, there is a dress code, and that is leather. Okay? And it's for your protection. I know, my old man gives me shit all the time, because anytime I here in Buell, I don't wear a helmet if I'm just going around town. But if I leave town to go to Twin for anything, I put on full leathers. I'll put on the jacket, I'll put on my cut, and then I'll put on my, I was going to say my assless chaps. My leather chaps, because you dress for the slide, not the ride. And yes, while it might be hot out there, having that thick cowhide leather wrapped around you is going to save you a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Unless, I mean, nowadays they have fancy fucking, what's it called? Armored jackets and stuff now. So you could buy armored pants and armored jackets and do just as well. But even with all that shit on, I'd still, at the very least, throw chaps on, or a jacket, or both, over the top of your armor. I mean, yes, we all understand that we're taking a risk when we get on a motorcycle, but better to be safe than sorry.
shared love of riding.
Anyway, I digress. That is the dress code. There is a dress code, and it's leather, for the most part.
And a community that's always got your back. So yeah, riding doesn't just get you places, it gets you people. And honestly, that's one of the best parts of the whole experience. Now we've covered a little bit how riding instantly gives you a second family. Let's talk about something else just as fun. How riding can turn even the most basic trip into an epic adventure.
Yeah.
All right, let's be honest. Most people treat travel like it's a chore. You get in your car, you fight traffic, and spend half your time yelling at Google Maps for rerouting you through someone's backyard. And by the time you get where you're going, you're already annoyed. But riding a motorcycle? Completely different game. When you're on two wheels, the ride itself is the adventure. The whole point isn't just getting somewhere, it's everything in between. See, when you're in a car, You're trapped in this little climate-controlled box, sealed off from the world. You could be driving past the most beautiful landscape ever, but all you'll ever notice is whether the AC is set to Arctic blast or Sahara desert. But when you're on a bike, you feel everything. The warmth of the sun on your back, the cool rush of air when you pass by a lake, the smell of fresh cut grass, even if you're allergic. And okay, occasionally a whiff of roadkill that reminds you why you keep your visor closed. But even that is part of the experience because you're in the journey, not just watching it through a windshield. And speaking of experiences, let's talk about food. See, bikers have this unspoken rule. If it takes at least 100 miles to get there, it must be the best burger on the planet. I don't care if some guy on Yelp gave it 2 stars because his fries were too crispy. If bikers ride there, it's good. And true confession, I'll ride all weekend for a good pancake breakfast place. This is why motorcycle trips...
This is a part of the reason why I'm planning a trip out to California here soon without the missus. Because I've been hankering for some In-N-Out burger. And we don't have one out here in Idaho. And I will go on a 10-hour drive, visit some homies for the night, and leave the following day. Just for a fat-ass meal of some animal-style fries and an In-N-Out burger. That's a fact.
Hit different. You end up in places you'd never even think to visit if you were in a car. Ever heard of Pie Town, New Mexico? Yeah, it's a real place. And guess what? They have amazing pie. Would I ever have gone there in a car? Probably not. But when you're riding, a place called Pie Town is suddenly a top priority destination. And it's not just about the food, though let's be honest, that's probably about 40% of it. It's about the freedom. No rigid schedules, no annoying layovers, and no overpriced hotel minibars. Just you, your bike, and the open road. When you travel on a motorcycle, you stop because you want to, not because Siri told you to make a U-turn. See a cool waterfall? Pull over. Roadside attraction that claims to have the world's largest ball of twine? Oh, you're stopping, because why wouldn't you? That's what makes it an adventure. And here's the wildest part. Sometimes the best moments are the unplanned ones. The little towns you stumble into, the random gas station conversations with fellow riders, the times you take a wrong turn and discover the best road you've ever ridden. That's the magic of traveling on 2 wheels. So yeah, riding isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's about everything in between. The unexpected stops, the weird roadside attractions, the legendary diner food, and the freedom to just go. No GPS rerouting, no rush hour stress, no pointless honking, just you, your bike, and whatever adventure finds you next. And honestly, that's the best way to travel. All right, so let's button up how motorcycles make it fun to travel, and let me bring it all together with one final thought. Motorcycles aren't just about speed and style. They make you stronger, smarter, happier, and part of something bigger. And like we said earlier, if you ever needed an excuse to ride more, now you got a bunch of them. So get out there, hit the road, and enjoy the benefits that come with it. And hey, if you like this video, hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more two-wheeled adventures. In the meantime, we'll keep bringing you along on our rides. And until then, we'll see you in the next one.
Show you, you don't have to have twisties or mountains to be an absolutely amazing ride.
You're not going to get anything better than going on a journey on your bike. Just you and the old horse. I named mine Moira. So Moira and I have become very intimate with one another. When I got her, her tires were incredibly bald, and they were in fact so bald that the guy who brought the bike over trailered it over here from Gooding, which is about 45 minutes away. He wouldn't even ride over here. The tires were so bald, dangerously bald. And while I don't condone risking your neck more than is needed and necessary on a bike, I drove the shit out of that thing. Up until recently, I just had it taken to the shop to go put tires and shit on it and some taller bars. But uh, I got on it, and even just babying it around town, just the wind on my face and neck, in my beard, chat, the wind in the beard. Just a little bit of going around town, just going for a drive around town a couple times. Big circle. It makes you feel so much better. Introduces you to a whole new group of people, and it gives you a workout. Which, I mean, hey, I didn't, and it's funny that that was said in that video, because I not only did I not know that, but I never really paid attention to, like, not the fatigue, I don't want to call it that, but the well, I guess it is a slight form of fatigue that hits you when you get off the bike, just because your abs are clenched. You're so used to, maybe I hope you're not death gripping your handlebars, but just everything that correlates to driving, the leaning. I mean, obviously, now that I think about it, and I'm like sitting down in my chair in somewhat of a 90-degree angle here, I guess the leaning aspect would definitely engage your core. Which, wow, I mean, there's just no downside to biking. I mean, aside from the very obvious, you're on a smaller moving vehicle that is slightly harder to see than a car, but there's just so much that goes into being on a bike, being in a community, and getting your mind right, that I can't get over it. All right, last video, and then we'll get on some World of Warcraft. So I'll restart the stream here shortly. Damn, look at that castle. Fuck. He's got a Triumph. You see that right there? He's got a Triumph. You want to talk about a luxurious ride? Good luck. They're expensive, and the parts are. It's like the Porsche of cars, equivalent to a bike. Triumphs are solid. Is it Triumph or is it the Victory that I'm thinking of? Hold on. Maybe it's the Victory that I'm thinking of, not the Triumph. Don't hold me to that. It's one or the other. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to pause it right here, chat. Yeah, so I didn't get my license up until I'm 35, mind you. I didn't get my license up until, oh fuck, 2 months ago legally. And now, mind you, I've been driving illegally for most of my life, but I digress. I've always owned a vehicle up until moving here to Idaho, so I've always been able to get around and get out and about. So I've never really lacked the gumption to want to get out because I walked almost everywhere. But there's something about owning a bike and having a bike in your presence just outside your door that you own and can get on at any point in time. There's without sounding terribly poetic, there's a beckoning that you get with a motorcycle, and maybe you could get it with a car. I'm sure if you owned a Lamborghini or a really nice SR23 Porsche or something like that, you would want to get out and drive that brand new Dodge Charger or the big souped up Hemi, whatever, you know. But that bike, man, it beckons to you to get out and just get out. Get out of the house. Go do something. And I love it. There's nothing like that I've experienced. Mhm. Yeah. And again, I'm sorry to interrupt chat, man, but maybe it's because I'm autistic and I have a very different view of the world and my thinking process. I'm not going to discredit that. However, a short drive in your fucking Pinto, in your Toyota Corolla, isn't the same thing as a quick drive down to the liquor store or down to the gas station for a pack of smokes and a mocha frappe, like on a bike. It's just not the same. And it doesn't give you that sense of, at least in my opinion, it doesn't give you that sense of refreshment. And, you know, you might live in a state where Idaho is one of the states where you're not required to wear a helmet. I believe California, Washington are two states that do require you to wear a helmet at all times. But whether you wear a helmet or not, man, you flip that visor up and it's just not the same thing as rolling your window down. You're not going to get the same atmosphere.
And I'm genuinely interested to see what this town's got to offer. Look, here's another big bonus.
Chat, you didn't tell me I forgot to switch the scenes over.
fellow
haven't really heard
motorbikers,
anything,
such
have
a
you?
great community, but that's
Oh,
the point
no.
for later. Yeah, just travelling to this local town to have some lunch. So we're going to go in, take it chilled, and have a bit of lunch. I find that, you know, this is a point for my personal health. Mental health. I get anxiety. If you want to know more about it, visit my Patreon page. I'll go more into depth about it there. But getting out and exploring and being in new places that I don't know is slightly challenging for me, but I find it does help me grow. I'm interested in these places, so I want to see it, and see new people and be in foreign places helps my curiosity and interest in life, and also you meet lots of people. So we're just coming down into the beautiful town of Chipping-Campden, which I assume is beautiful because I've never been here before. I'm going to stop for lunch and get on to our next point of why motorbiking helps with my mental health so much. This stunning, the Cotswolds, these old thatched houses with the Cotswold stones, beautiful.
Oh, look at that.
Wow. Yeah, so be sure to stay tuned to the end,
drive-through
guys, where I'm going to go into the main reason why motorbiking I find so beneficial for my mental health. Just working our way through the points. I could go on about it forever. I really could. It's just there's so many benefits and good points of it, really, for your mental health. What a sweet little place. Beautiful around here. See, I've never been here before. It's already making me feel quite happy, this. Find a place to park. That looks as good as any. So we just parked up in Chipping-Campden, just having a walk around this beautiful, beautiful Cotswold village. And what I like to do is stop for a coffee somewhere or some food. Just relax, take time to relax, take in the scenery, potentially meet some people, which is always good. Don't have to, no pressure, just go in, just relax really, have a nice time. So what we'll do, we're going to do that, find a place to grab a coffee, and then after that we'll go into my main reason why I find motorbiking so good for my mental health.
Oh, look at that pretty.
Okay guys, so stop for that lovely coffee there in a really nice place. Just sat by the fire. Whoa, nice and warm. Feeling good to hit the road again. Head's clear. Now I said I'd come on to my favourite bit of how motorbiking helps out the mental health. My main thing is the involvement and the feeling you get. So the feeling of it bringing you out of your own head. I suppose it's a sort of meditation and mindfulness exercise. When you jump on the bike, you just get to start it up, whether it be in the morning or now or whenever. So I'm just going to fire it up. You get the noise of the exhaust, the vibrations, and you're outside as well. You've got the fresh air. So if we just start her up now. It's such an involving experience, can't explain it. However bad you're feeling, it seems to bring me out of my head, and especially when you get moving. It's that mindfulness when you're riding along, and this is where the motorbike really comes into its own for your mental health. You're so exposed. In a car, you don't have the wind, the smells, the temperature changes. Just so involving on a motorbike. It really does help you come out of your own head and help just force you to be more mindful. And it's hard to do, to be mindful. So at first, however bad you're feeling, you don't even need to try when you're riding a motorbike.
Hold on, chat.
Because truthfully, it's such an involving experience. You don't have to try, it's just so involving, it brings you out of your head anyway. So that's what really got me into it and how it helps me so much. However bad I'm feeling, really, I know I can jump on my bike. It's always there, the bike.
Yeah, and
just jump
that's
on it
exactly
and
what I was
go
talking
for a
about earlier.
ride, and it really does.
You know it's there. You know it's kind of within. Well, I mean, obviously within walking distance of you. You know it's there, so it's a calling, and it's a want to get out and just experience something that you haven't before, or have maybe many times before. And it's just not going to be an experience that you get as if you were to roll down the window in your car and stick your head out the window. It's not the same thing, man.
Clear your head. I do plan on doing other videos more in depth in the future about this to maybe help people practice it, but I practice meditation a lot myself. It's very hard when you're feeling bad, so I get it, you just find it so hard, but when you start getting a little bit better, you can start practicing being more mindful whilst riding your motorbike, which I think makes it a more involving ride, and also makes it a much safer ride as well, because you're much more aware of your surroundings and your other vehicles, the road surface, the weather, whether there's slippy bits coming up. So it's good all round, really, being more mindful. Okay guys, so you never know what you're going to see. I've just bumped into Nigel here on his blood bike. Say hi, Nigel.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm very well, I'm good, thanks. So what do you do in a brief explanation, if you could?
Well, we are charity, so we're self-funding.
Yeah.
And we're all volunteers, and we take blood samples, blood products like obviously blood and platelets, from one hospital to another.
Fantastic.
In 4 counties. So it's Northamptonshire, Buckinghamshire, Berkshire and Oxfordshire.
Okay.
In addition, which is what I do quite a lot of and I've just come back from, is we collect ladies' breast milk from their homes, which has been frozen, and I take it to the milk bank in the John Radcliffe Hospital for processing and giving to babies in need.
So very good deeds being done.
I mean, we do quite a lot.
And you riding a Yamaha
FJR, yeah.
FJR, upgrading to the BMW.
That's correct. Well, they stopped making FJRs now, I understand.
Yeah.
So we're going to the BMW 1250 RT.
Cool.
It's going through trials at the present moment. But in order to, you've got to put a special rack on the back, and it's got to be.
Yeah. What was the organisation again? Just we'll give you.
Right, it's called SERV.
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 So it's called SERV. SERV. Oh, okay. There we go.
SERV ABM, yeah.
Yeah. So check them out, guys. Doing lots of good work, and obviously riding some great motorbikes. Cheers. Cheers, guys.
Okay.
Cool, guys. So another example, I've just bumped into
Saeed.
Cool. So Saeed and Gus on Red Ang Revival. What are you test riding?
I'm test riding the KTM Adventure.
Nice. And you ride a Harley, you were saying?
I ride a Harley. I ride a Heritage Classic.
Oh, okay.
Which can't go off-road, so I'm testing this to see whether when I go on trips that I go off-road, maybe I'll go with this. What I'm worried about is that it's on the straight.
Yeah.
When you're going 70, it might be too, vibratory, too noisy.
Okay. Yeah.
I've tested off-road, it's fantastic.
You have taken it off-road, yeah?
Not this one, but I've taken a course off-road with this, training, and it's been really good because it's got low center of gravity because the tank is lower.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to handle.
Okay.
But I'm just worried about long distance.
You should try maybe the Honda Africa Twin as well.
I have, but that's too tall for me.
Oh, yeah.
And this has got lower center of gravity.
Yeah, okay.
So I prefer this to look...
You're not going to get some knobbly tyres on the Harley Davidson and just...
No, it's too low.
Okay, sweet. We've got to go now. Back on the road. Cheers, Saeed.
Nice to meet
Love
you.
to meet you.
Take care.
So on the mindfulness side of it, just as an example, just riding along this road here, not much going on, but there's a big lorry behind me, which brings you out of your head, but given the road conditions in the winter. So they're quite slippy roads here, quite muddy. This corner coming up, I can't see all the way around it. Need to come out to the left a bit and be aware of what's coming around. The road's drying up a bit here, so I'll pick the dry spots to ride. At the same time, I'm also thinking of this lorry behind me driving and what he's up to, whether he's too close, far away, and how he's driving. There's so much to, I probably sound like I'm going on about it a bit too much, but there's so much you can be aware of. You just forget about everything else. I find that anyway, I really do. And then on top of that, you've got all of the beautiful scenery. If you're in a nice place, you've just got nature that's just great for you anyway, good for the mental health anyway. There's so many points I can go into. I'm trying to sort of hold myself back, but yeah, I'm going to do a lot more videos on it in the future. If you like the idea of it, guys, please do make sure you subscribe, and then you'll get a good warning and you can see more videos of sort of mindful motorbiking in the future. So, as well as the mindfulness and the bringing you out of your head, massive benefits motorbiking gives me. Moving on to what we're on, I forgot what, I'm not counting anymore. Moving on to the next point of the benefits. Especially for me with anxiety, I get a lot of, I get social anxiety. Really complicated, had it for a long time, I don't know why. But the big benefit I have gained massively through motorbiking, and I think a lot of people could, and a lot of people definitely do, but more could, is the social side of it. It's just riding up here today. This morning I bumped into at least 3 people. Bumped into a few guys when I was filling up with petrol, just a couple of motorbikers. Yeah, just really nice, really interesting people.
Gas,
and you're all,
petrol.
it's just a really good like icebreaker, barrier breaker. Generally when you sit, bikers will know, but when you meet other bikers or you see other bikers, there's that community, automatic community of like-minded people. So there's an automatic, something that you're all interested in, that you can immediately have a connection to speak with someone. And however bad I've been feeling, the biking community so far has been so good, so welcoming, like, and I'm completely open now with my mental health, which I didn't used to be in the past. So yeah, it's a great tool to connect with people, and even non-bikers. Sure, it happens on other bikes, but especially the Speedmaster. Like, I've met a few people today, just the amount of people that stop you saying, "Oh man, what a cool bike," or "Where's it from? What are you up to? Are you traveling?" It opens so many doors to meet some great people. So that's a really, really cool benefit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay guys, so last but very much not least point, there's many more, but we're going to have to finish the video at some point. And my last thing for the benefits for your mental health is the motorbike's always there. I know it sounds obvious, but it's that reassurance. Like, the motorbike's not going to change. If I'm having a bad day and I feel I need to get out or clear my head, the motorbike's always there. Maybe my head's feeling bad and, you know, the thoughts are a bit much and you just can't get things straight in your head. It's reassuring. You just look out the window or wherever you keep your motorbike, in the garage or wherever, and the bike's there. You can just hop on. There she is, your trusty steed, as they say. Excuse the what is it?
It is your
corny
trusty
comment or whatever. But yeah, your steed is there, and you can just jump on, fire her up, and you're off, and everything else just sort of seems to dissipate into the background. You just go for a ride. The road's there. I know it sounds a bit corny, but you just ride the road. The road's not going anywhere. Your bike's there, and there's just endless places you can go and explore. That's the final point. It's always there for you to jump on.
You're not gonna get
and just go and clear your head. I'd like to say thank you for watching. I hope that's given a clear idea of how motorbiking helps me and can possibly help you as well with your mental health. I plan on doing a lot more videos like this, so stay tuned and let me know if you want to see anything more specific or know anything more about myself and how motorbiking can help. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. This has been Red Ang Revival. Stay happy, get out there and ride. All the best. Ciao Bella.
Yeah, I mean, We went through it, chat. We went through it. You're not going to get anything better than a solid trip on a bike. But, well, I think that's it for this episode. I kind of want to play some WoW. I'm not going to lie to you, chat. I kind of want to get on some WoW. But I think League is going to get the viewers. Look, I do this because I like doing it, not because I have to. Although I do kind of have to. But I think we're gonna have to play some League. I don't want to, but I think a couple. Maybe we'll do a couple ARAMs before we hop into ranked. That way, we could try and get some wins under our belt and get some viewers, huh? What do we think? Let me restart the stream. Let me fix a couple things here, and I will be back here shortly. Yeah.